How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to CardboardSim. Should be CardboardSim X3D at this point, because we have went extreme over the last few months. For those who have been watching and following me grow and just completely change the overall greatness of CardboardSim and where it started off in the beginning. But let me get on track, because I know I can ramble off. As you can see in the title and in the thumbnail, that we are here to discuss how I came about putting together the dual link system that I have, as well as adding force feedback. So a while ago, I think last year sometime, or maybe even the year before, I can't quite remember, I tried my first attempt in doing a force feedback, and I'm gonna be honest, it was a fail. It was a fail. I mean, I got it to move, but I didn't really get nothing out of it. So fast forward to now, we finally got version 2 off the ground, and it is a complete success. There are some minor discrepancies which I will discuss later on in the video. But for now, I just want to kind of show you the breakdown of how I went about accomplishing this. Now, once again, for those who've been following me and those who are with me in my Discord, originally my goal was going to reattempt the single throwover yoke setup, which I could still possibly do later down the road if I want to, but I think I'm going to leave it as such. And this is why we went from single to dual. So I have a good buddy of mine, big up to Dragon. He printed the yokes out for me, and originally I was just gonna get one. He was like, why do one? I just print out two and just have two, be kind of an eye candy thing, and a little bit more immersion. So I said cool. So that's where the dual link actually really came in. It was more of a, hey, why get one when you can get two, and it looks a little bit more. So I said cool, and I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that. It is definitely an immersion. It's very immersive to be sitting here and turning the yoke, as you can see, on one end, and the other one's turning. So that's where the dual link came in. Now, to get to the nitty gritty, how I did it. So I pretty much used the same setup I had on the first one with a couple changes. So I'm running 1.5 inch PVC pipe. Get it at a hardware store. This is pretty much like piping, like PVC pipe for like sinks and things like that. So originally they're white, and I just sprayed them black. And then here on the arm, I guess you could say, the pitch axis, I bought the chrome one to kind of mimic what it looks like in the real Bonanza. And so how this all works is the yokes are linked together via chains, right? So these are the chains that I'm using. These are number 25 chains. You can get them off of Amazon. So very, very small. That one's kind of tight. Anyway, nonetheless, here you go. So this is the chain. So just to give you an idea, the chain is linked center from this yoke to that yoke, and from that yoke to that yoke. So obviously there's one sprocket, and then there's two, and then they meet up. That's how these are linked. Now, this guy right here, I ordered this guy, and somehow it got lost in the sauce during the shipping. So I ordered another one, and they end up coming in together. So I actually have an extra one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I'll come up with something. It's got some weight to it. I might use this to, when I'm walking around, knock a dog out if need be. No, let me stop. Mess around and get canceled for saying something crazy. Nah. So this is what goes through the pipe here, all the way to the back. And so you have the two sprockets here with the chains, one going that way and one going that way. So when I turn, it's turning the whole system, right? And this is obviously linked to the roll motor in the back via a drive belt. So that's pretty much how the roll linkage is set up. Pretty simple. And I bought this one for a reason, because this one actually has threadings on each end, and I wanted that so that way you can't really see. Oh no, you might be able to see it. No, you probably can't see it. This is my new tablet, just so by the way, for my Navigraph. I used to have it on my Yoke. Now I got it here. Pretty cool. Anyway, so what I do is coming out here on the back end this way. You might see it in some of my older videos. You'll see like a washer and a little screw, hex head screw, and all that does just help keep this center inside there, so it's not, it just kind of keeps everything nice and tight pretty much. So that's why I went with that one. And so this piece right here is obviously something I 3D printed. So there's there's 3 of these, minus one being a little different. The other one, which is in the back there, is for the support. So, and when I take you to the back to show you, you'll see what I'm talking about. But the one in the back actually has kind of some feet, I guess you can say, as a bracket to support the yoke and the roll axis. So this part here is actually further in or further out, because you have the pulley in the back. Like I said, you'll see all that when I go to the back. So that way that this can sit still as I'm turning. This is stationary, of course, but I can't turn it because it's tight right now. But it gives it support, as well as the reason why I designed it this way. My original setup, I for the life of me could not figure out how to keep the yoke from keep it locked into place. So what I ended up having to do was I had bought some drawer sliders, and I had them coming out the back, so if you didn't know they was there, you couldn't really see them. But that's what was keeping the yokes balanced, so they wasn't going. Well, as you can see now, this is completely supported all by itself. And how I did that was by making this. So the other end of this chrome PVC pipe slides over this part right here, and I have them screwed down on all 4s. That way this booger here can't roll on me. It's nice and tight. It's stationary, so it kind of acts as the real thing in the Bonanza, even though the real Bonanza, the mechanism in the back is totally different situation. But the concept is there, right? And that's all I wanted. And then to kind of help balance it here in the center, this right here is yet another bathroom PVC ring, that they put, on the wall as the PVC pipe goes to the wall. So I'm like, well, that looks kind of nice. That looks kind of like a Bonanza ring, around the yoke bar. So I went with that, and all I did was took it was a one. Well, actually it's a 1.5 PVC pipe. But the inner hole, the bore of it, is actually a little bit more than 1.5, even though it says it's 1.5. And I cut out maybe, I don't know, maybe 2-3 inches, and glued that on the back of that, so that gives me a little bit more support, so it's not flopping. Now there's a little bit of play there, but the weight of it keeps it down anyway. So we're solid from front to back there, right? Okay, so that covers the roll, and then the pitch, which I'll show you back there, definitely a DIY. I got some linear rails with a very, very thin piece of plywood, cut it down to size, and that's where my roll motor and this whole mechanism sits on, and it just slides back and forth on it. I need to grease it up a little bit. I got to figure out what's a good oil or grease to put on that, but that's beside the point. But as you can see, I get very good good travel, no binding. Feels very, very good. Nice and tight. Now, real quick, on to a couple flaws on version 2. And maybe if I do version 3 again, or do version 3, I will make sure I fix these. So, two flaws up here. One is, so these pieces right here are actually connected to the back of the yoke, and they go through the T of the PVC pipe here on the end. Well, that hole, this fits in the hole snug, but not snug enough. So there is a little bit of play, as you can see. I mean, you're talking maybe maybe an eighth to maybe a quarter of an inch play, which don't seem like a lot. And once you're moving and you're fighting the force feedback, you don't really notice it too much. But just sitting still, you can see, there's a little bit. So that's one flaw in version 2. The second flaw is, and this is something I learned, especially with force feedback, how flexible this PVC pipe is. So, when I'm really, really having to fight the system, this bar actually, you can see it bends. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to reinforce it. I might just 3D print me something, or get me something heavy and place it back here to support these, so that they're not flapping the way it does. Because sometimes when I'm really fighting, I get nervous because I don't want to pull too hard, and next thing you know, it snaps, and now I got to rebuild this whole thing from the ground up. So I'm very, very cautious, and sometimes I even roll back some of the power on the settings, just so that I just don't want to break it. It's working good right now. But yeah, so those are the two flaws I have up here. Very minor. It doesn't affect the immersion. It doesn't affect the system itself. Everything still works as it should. As far as the plates go, I've created these. I took two different things that I found on Thingiverse and Yegi, and created these myself. So you got the Beechcraft Bonanza logo, and then my tail number, November 424 Romeo Papa. And then I just took them, and I printed these in transparent PLA, and then I just spray painted the backside black, and then some of the overspray kind of got on the front, so it kind of gives you that 2-3 tone color, that gray, black, kind of clear vibe. I didn't do that on purpose. It just came out that way. And yeah. So enough of that. Turned out good. So these yokes actually had holes for buttons all the way across, but Copilot don't need no buttons, and I only needed the ones that I have. So I created some caps and just glued the caps on. Not perfect, but it gets the job done. As far as my button controls, so I have 3 push buttons. I got one up front, these 2 up top, and then I have my rocker right here. All of these buttons, minus the actual structure, the physical buttons, and this was 3D printed. I 3D printed these, got these, created these and printed them out. All the wiring and all of that is actually from my old Alpha Yoke. I originally was going to use my Alpha Yoke to try to force feedback that, and so I started playing around with it a little bit here and there, and then I'm like, well, I've already done enough, because I had already customized it and modified it to fit this, so there was no way I could really sell it. So I'm like, well, I might as well just part it out and see what I could do with it. So as you can see, I'm still running the original cable from the Alpha Yoke, and I took one of the PCBs from it that powered the buttons from the Alpha Yoke. I made me a little box here underneath, so that PCB can sit up under, and I got that attached under there. And then I have the wires from there coming into the yoke from the backside up and through, and this controls all of my functions. So these 3 buttons here, so the three push buttons are for my camera view. So the front one obviously is for the front camera, left camera, right camera. So that's how I'm changing the views when you're watching my streams and videos. Oops, did it change? I hope it didn't change. I mean, it might have changed in the video when I was pressing. I'm sorry if it did, y'all. I wasn't even looking. Did it do it? Yeah, it did. I'm sorry. My apologies. Okay. So, and then the rocker switch is actually from the Alpha Yoke as well. I 3D printed this part out, put the rocker switch in, and so when I push up on the rocker switch, that allows me to talk to ATC. More than likely, it'll end up being SayIntentions, but either SayIntentions or vatsim, whichever one I'll be flying. And then when I press down on it, it allows me to talk to people through the Discord. So that's all I needed. I didn't really need all the buttons and all that stuff because I have everything else in the sim itself to work for me. So that's how it works. So like I said, wires coming through and into a PCB. Here's the original Alpha coil cable, just like the Alpha Yoke has, and it goes right back to the main PCB that runs the whole Alpha Yoke that has the USB cable coming out the back. So that's how that's set up. And that's pretty much it for the Yoke system in the front. I am going to get this camera changed around, and I'm going to try this thing out. I downloaded this thing for OBS, and I want to see if it actually works. It's supposed to work. All right, so here we go. Now, don't mind the mess. We're not here to talk about that. So here's the pitch motor. Here's the belt. Let me pull this forward, as you can see. So that's the board. That's the PCB board, or the PCB that powers everything. This is the power supply for it. And then there is the roll motor. So as you can see, here's that long beam I was telling you about. There's the other piece. There is the chrome pipe that's screwed into that. I have that screwed in there. Here is a whatchamacall, can't think of the name of it. Bearing. Another for an extra support. And here's the pulley. Here's the other end. Belt driven. Another pulley there. Roll motor. Pitch motor attached. And then there's another pulley on the back end there. So that would allow. Oh, and then here are the you probably can't see it, but two linear rails. And then it's just a board. So you can see that's how it slides back and forth. And that's pretty much it. There's really not much to it. Everything else is software. So as you can see, I turn, works fine. And that's it, y'all. Well, there you go, guys. That is in a nutshell my dual linked yoke force feedback system that mimics the old style bonanza, and it turned out good. I'm happy with it. I'm pleased with it. And if that's something that you want to do, it doesn't necessarily even have to be the bonanza style. You can just do a one yoke. For you guys that, I know a lot of guys like to do Cessnas and stuff like that, you can add this DIY kit to yours and save yourself hundreds of dollars. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Stay tuned. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe so you can catch that one for sure and really see what this thing has to offer. And I'll take it up in the air and show you how it works with the settings that I have now. So don't be like, oh, you said it does this and does that. It ain't perfect yet because I ain't got my settings down here right, but it's getting there. Yeah, so do that. If you like this video, please hit that like button. That will help me out and lets me know that these are the videos that you enjoy. I normally stream, and I stream kind of late just because of how my schedule is, but I want to get back into making videos for people that aren't up that late at night. Because I normally stream around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know everybody's not on, either they already flying or they already sleep because they got to go to work in the morning. And I get it. That's just the best time that I can get my streams in. But I'm gonna do my best to start incorporating more recorded videos for you guys to be able to come back and watch and stuff like that. Not that you can't go back and watch my streams now, because you can. So yeah, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comment section below, and I will get them back to you as soon as I possibly can and when I read them, because I'll be reading my channel, looking at my channel throughout the day, and I get notifications. So you send me something, I will reply back. That's all I got. This is CardboardSim X 3D. I need to go ahead and change my name, huh? It's CardboardSim. We signing out.